Hi, I didn't see you there. How are you doing? Hey, my little raggities, what is up? How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are having an amazing day. It is Wednesday, and I thought I'd just come in here, finally give a review for The Outsider by Stephen King, and also give you guys a little reading update. So, let's just get into it. So, a lot of you already know what I rated The Outsider. If you are following me on Instagram, if you are not following me on Instagram, you can follow me at Rena.Swan. You can also follow me on TikTok at Rena.Swan. Yeah. So, most of you already know what I rated The Outsider, but I wanted to give a full breakdown because I feel like there are layers to this book because the book is so massive. It has to be broken down. So I did give the book a 2.5. And so we're going to get into like the minutiae of what the book is about, what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, and then we'll get into the reading update, okay? So The Outsider is about a well-known coach, loving guy, comes from, has a great background, has a loving family, and he is accused of a heinous crime that is done to a young boy. So he was assaulted, but the way that his body was found, like you could tell, like not only was he assaulted, but there were like other things that happened to his body that just was like over the top overkill. And so the detective, I believe his name is Anderson, he is on the case, and his son used to be this coach's team. So he knows the coach, and this is really like got him fired up because he's like, okay, well, I trusted you around my kid, and I can't believe you would do something like this. Like, we trusted you. And at first there was kind of give the coach a bit of the doubt, but they found evidence at the crime scene, DNA, and there were several witnesses testifying like, yeah, we saw him with the young man. It was him. And so they decided that they was gonna roll up on him in front of a large crowd of people and arrest him and make a huge public arrest. And it just became like a big news. It just became big news, basically. And so I thought the idea of mixing crime and horror is excellent. I love me a little crime and horror. I love it. You guys know I went up for A Mask of Flies. I just love the mixture of the two worlds when it's done right. So for the plot, because I have different ratings for like the different things about the book. For the plot, I gave it a 3.5. I said the premise of a man accused of a brutal crime with seemingly airtight evidence, only for the case to take an otherworldly turn, is like engaging. It's gripping. It pulls you in. But the blend of crime and horror could have been executed better, and the second half of the book felt a lot slower. And so that was like my biggest gripe with my whole reading experience, is that it dragged on. I think the book is like 629 pages, and I felt like, okay, after the 300th page, I felt like, okay, we could start wrapping this up right now, but he just kept going and going. As far as the writing style, this is my first like official Stephen King book. I did read In the Tall Grass, which is a novella, and I watched the movie on Netflix, and that was okay. But a young lady in Barnes & Noble that worked there, she was like, oh, if you're trying to get into Stephen King, start with The Outsider. I really enjoyed it. Now I'm about to be looking for this girl, because I'm like, why would you do that to me? But so as far as like what I feel about his writing style, I gave his writing style a 2.5. It's just not for me. I did not care for his writing style at all. He definitely knows how to write vivid descriptions and dialogue. However, I think his writing is a bit too detailed at the wrong times, okay? So what I mean by too detailed at the wrong time. So instead of him describing, like, in the second half, instead of describing like the horror that was taking place, he went on to describe Holly, one of the characters in the book, describing cases that she had worked on in the past, and breakfast that she likes to eat, and how she grew up, and just like little stuff that didn't really add to the plot. They really didn't like make me give a damn. Like, I don't care about the crimes over in the next city that aren't necessarily connected to the crime that you're working on today. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you mentioning all these things that don't really matter? But you're rushing through the action. So yeah, that was a fail for me. As far as the characters, like I said, there was Holly, there was Ralph Anderson. The characters are really well developed. It really feels like you know them. It feels like you can not necessarily envision them, but Stephen does a really good job of just making sure the characters feel real. Like, they feel like real people. Which I could see how people could take that and be invested a little bit more into the story, because he does do a good job of character development. So I gave his character development 4 out of 5 stars. So yeah, 4 out of 5 stars for the character development. As far as like the suspense and thrill factor, I gave that a 2.5. Because the first half was filled with high tension. Like I said, it pulls you in, it makes you want to keep reading. Because I want to say like 300 pages in, or 200 and something pages in, and I was still like really engaged. I was really interested in what was going to happen next, because he makes the characters feel so real. You do become invested in the lives of the surrounding cast, and you know, the crime that took place. You want to see the outcome, because it's like, damn, you just feel for all these people, because everybody's losing so much, you know, as this ongoing case is happening. As the book went on and he introduced like the horror theme into the book, that's when things start to take a turn, and that's when like the thrill began to die down, and it lost its spark and became less interesting to me, because like I said, he does a great job of detailed writing about his characters, but not so much about the horror elements that was taking place. Because while some of them were detailed, they weren't strong enough. It wasn't strong enough to carry the second half of the book. So it made the downhill part of the book be a landslide into the mud, y'all. It just was like, so as far as originality, I gave it a 5.5, because I do like the blending of crime and horror. I feel like it's a good idea if it's done right. Like, if you can describe like the things that are happening, like, so for example, with the Mass of Flies, the author went into describing the teeth. He went into like the hairs on the monster, and like everything was so detailed down to the eyes, and like you can just envision like what was going on, and it was really, really creepy. Whereas you're introduced to like certain things in this book and you're just like, oh, okay, all right, you know? So it's just, I just wanted more. So originality for sure is a 5 out of 5 because I feel like he had 2 great ideas, but they weren't thought out enough and they just kind of clashed together. That's just what it felt like for me. Like both ideas were great, but I feel like one idea was stronger than the other and they just never meshed well. They just never went together well. But like overall, like The Outsider was a solid read, but its best moments was like definitely in the beginning of the book. Yeah. So now that that's out of the way, before we get into my reading update, have you guys read The Outsider or did you watch the show? I was gonna watch the show, but I could not find it anywhere but on Apple TV because I don't have YouTube TV. And them niggas on Apple TV wanted $4. And $4 is not enough. But baby, if I'm giving the book 2.5 stars, I'm not going to spend any type of coin to watch the show. Like I was gonna buy it and watch it just to kind of do like a comparison, but then I was just like, for what? I didn't even like the book, for real. So that went out the window. So yeah, just to sum everything up, he got a 3 out of 5 for plot, 1 out of 5 for delivery, 2 out of 5 for the writing style. The character development was a 4 out of 5. Suspense and thrill factor, 2 out of 5. And originality, 5 out of 5. And with all of that, I came up with a overall score of 2.5. So don't ask me how I got there, I just got there. Reading update time. Right now I am bouncing back and forth between 3 books. If you have been following my reading updates on my stories on Instagram, some of you might say that I'm having a bad reading month. Some of you might feel that way. I don't know. Who is this calling me? Spam risk. I don't necessarily feel like I'm having a bad reading month. I just feel like I'm not having the best reading month I've ever had this year. Okay, so I'm balancing and bouncing back in between 3 books right now. If you watched the ARC taste test video, or at least some of it, you guys should already know about Tangle Root. I decided to circle back to that. Look at me, right? Because I said I didn't know if I was gonna read any of the arcs, but I did circle back to Tangle Root, and it's not bad. It's a little wordy, but it's not bad. So basically, let me just read you guys a synopsis, so I can actually inform you guys correctly about what the book is about, because you know I'm good to give a synopsis and it be wrong. So it says,
Noni Reed has grown up in the shadow of her mother, Dr. Radiance Castine, renowned scholar of Black literature who is alarmingly perfect at just about everything. When Dr. Castine takes a job as the president of the prestigious Stone Post College in rural Virginia, Noni is forced to leave her New England home and, most importantly, a prime internship and her friends. She and her mother move into the big house on Tangleroot Plantation. Tangleroot was built by one of Noni's ancestors, an enslaved man named Coffee Fortune, who Dr. Castine believes was also the original founder of Stone Post College, and that the school was originally formed for Black students. Dr. Castine spends much of her time trying to piece together enough undeniable truth in order to change the name of the school in Coffee's honor, and to force the university to reckon with its own racist past. Meanwhile, Noni hates everything about her new home, but finds herself morbidly fascinated by the white slaveholding family who once lived in it. Slowly, she begins to unpeel the layers of sinister history that envelop her Virginia town, her mother's workplace, her ancestry, and her life story as she knew it. Through it all, she must navigate the ancient prejudices of the citizens in her small town. And ultimately, she finds herself both affirming her mother's position in her own, but also discovering a secret that changes everything.
So, like I said, so far I am enjoying it. If you want to check out the first chapter of this book, it is in my art taste test video. It is getting dark. The book is getting dark. Like the synopsis says, they are living on an old plantation. So you can imagine all the things that are taking place in racist ass Virginia. And this book kind of reminds me of When the Reckoning Comes. It just has that eerie, creepy Get Out vibe. And so this book is already out for purchase. It came out on October 15th. So you are more than free to go check that out. They probably have it on Libby. I don't know if they have it on Hoopla, but yeah, I am listening to the audio of that. I don't know why they would give me an arc the same month that the book was released. I don't know, but yeah, so there's that. Also, right now I am reading Innocent Intent. Can y'all see it? Can y'all see it? Yeah, so I'm reading this right now, and basically I am enjoying it. I am. It is about a criminal psychologist who has like everything going for her right now. Like, she's retired, she's an author, she's traveling, she's living her best life. She knows she has a loving husband. People adore her in her field. She is revered to be like the best, right? But then all of a sudden, everything just starts crashing down when, let me just make sure that I'm not spoiling nothing for y'all. Okay, yeah. Okay, I can say this. So one of these days, one of them days, she ends up tagging along with her old colleague on a case, and because they just see each other in passing and have lunch together, and he's like, you want to tag along? I just got the call for this case, and she's like, nah, I'm not even really into that whole crime scene thing. I'm retired, I'm good. And he's like, come on, you're the best, I need your set of eyes, like, come on, just tag along. Y'all, she gets to the crime scene and it's her husband. But the gag is, the name that they told, like the name that is on his ID, is not the name that she know him as. Mind you, she's already distraught about some other stuff that came about before she found this man dead. Then she find out the man that she been sleeping with ain't even who he say he is. Then on top of that, they starting to look at her a little funny, like she got something to do with it. And so now she's like trying to prove that, like, look, I didn't do this stuff. It wasn't me.
I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. I'm fighting for my life.
So she's trying to like convince them that like it wasn't her, but they're like, you're the expert. You're the perfect person to do something like this, because only you would know how to execute a kill and not get caught, because you're an expert. And so I'm enjoying it. So out of the 3 books that I'm reading right now, I think this one is the one I'm enjoying the most. Tangeroot is like a close second. And then last but not least, I am reading The Other Twin by Karen Roberts Turner. So basically, it is about Ebony and Essence, who are textbook twins. They do everything together, always have, but as they got older, or really all throughout their life, Essence has been like the more popular one, the smarter one, the one that people always believe had, you know, the one that people have high hopes for, right? Which left Ebony feeling like, damn, like I just don't matter to nobody, because like all y'all care about is Essence. And so as they get older and they go off to college, Essence is starting to feel herself, y'all, and she's starting to, you know, tell Ebony like, I don't want to be twins no more. Like, stop trying to be like me and find your own thing, find your own style. Like, leave me and my friends alone. Go get your own friends. Just real mean girl shit. And so basically what's gonna happen, according to the synopsis, is tragedy is gonna strike, and it's gonna shake both of them to their core, and it's gonna kind of like test them individually and test their bond as sisters. So far, it's not bad. I am not even deep into it, but Essence is getting on my nerves. Ebony's voice is starting to come off as whining, and it's kind of annoying. It's very childlike, which makes sense because she's only a sophomore in college. But it's starting to get on my nerves. I'm only on chapter 6, and I'm gonna keep going. I've had this on my shelf for, y'all probably have seen me post this before, because I keep saying I'm gonna read it and then I don't. So now I'm actually gonna just keep going. I don't care how long it takes me to finish this book, I'm gonna finish it. And yeah, I even started tabbing a little bit. Look at me. Do y'all tab y'all books? Because I feel like I want to be a tab girl, but I feel like tabbing really takes away the reading experience, because I be trying to tab, like I'll be reading, I'll be in the zone, and then I'll see a quote and I'll be like, oh, let me tab it. And then that stops the whole reading process, and then I have to get back into the zone. So like, how do y'all feel? Like, do y'all tab or nah? Like, I don't know. I just feel like it makes the reading process take a whole lot longer, because I'm constantly stopping to tag the book. And then what are y'all tagging? Like, what are y'all tabbing? Are y'all tabbing like y'all favorite quotes or intense scenes or like funny thing? Like, what are y'all tabbing? Because I be tabbing stuff that's relatable. It just depends on the book. If it's relatable, I'll tab it. If it's funny, I'll tab it. You know? But yeah. What are y'all reading right now? Drop down in the comments. Let me know. And also, the month is wrapping up rather rapidly. So what has been your favorite read this far? I don't really know if I have a favorite read. The Accomplice by 50 Cent was like my highest rated book this month, and that says a lot. So yeah, hopefully Innocent Intent will bring it on home and we can get a 5-star rating out of this baby. All right, so I'm gonna go. Take care of yourselves. I love you guys very mucho, and I will see you in the next video.